Everyone, this is Ian Troutman, your host of the Walking with Legends podcast, here for a quick message here before we begin. Just want to thank everyone for your support. Thank you for listening. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for checking us out on all of our social media platforms. We really appreciate the support. And if you haven't already had a chance to do so, go ahead and like our Facebook page, like our post, tell your friends and your family about our podcast. We really appreciate anything that you can do to help spread the word. If you have any comments or feedback or just want to get involved with the show, please send an email to walkwithlegends@gmail.com. I check that email every day, and so I appreciate any and all comments or feedback or support or whatever you want to do for the podcast in advance. Thank you guys so much for listening, and we hope that you enjoy today's episode. Hello everyone, and welcome to a very special episode of Walking with Legends, where I sit down with athletes and personnel from local teams, such as colleges or minor league teams, and discuss their journeys and how they impact their communities on a daily basis, both on and off the field of play. So hello everyone, I'm Ian Troutman, the host of the Walking with Legends podcast. I'm here today at Homer Striker Field in Kalamazoo, Michigan with Thomas Olds, who is one of the, you're the director of business operations or
business relations.
Okay. Yep, for the Kalamazoo Growlers. I just wanted to sit down with you a little bit today, I actually know you from high school and different things like that, so it's great to be able to catch up with you again. Wanted to just kind of pick your brain a little bit about the Growlers organization and minor league baseball in general. And then maybe just see, I guess, what we can learn about kind of what goes into that. I know I'm really curious to find out. So
yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. It's always fun to sit down and chat. Growlers, talking baseball is one thing. It's a lot of fun. But to be able to talk about the organization itself is a change of pace, and it's a lot of fun, too. So I'm excited.
Yeah. So first of all, I wanted to kind of figure out what led you to kind of pursue a career with the Growlers. Was it just a love for baseball, or was it just a movement that you kind of wanted to get on?
Right. Yeah. So actually, for me personally, I've got a unique story for sure. Most people that work in an organization like this come from a sports management background. Especially at this level, you'll get guys, or ladies straight out of college that do their internship with a team like this, and then eventually become full time or whatever the case is. For me, it's kind of a funny story. My senior year of college, I still wasn't really sure exactly what route I wanted to go. I was getting a management degree at Western Michigan University. It was my second to last semester, and I had an assignment in one of my management classes that was just to go interview someone from an industry or a company that you'd be interested in. And me being the typical kind of procrastinator and slacker that I was, I hate to admit, but I thought, okay, what would be easy? Okay, I enjoy sports. I know the Growlers at the time were going into year 3, I think, relatively new organization. Actually, my parents have been host parents for Growlers players.
Oh, okay.
The first couple of years, so I knew the ownership team and whatnot here. So I asked Brian Colopy, who's the managing partner, just to sit down and kind of go through the questions for the class with him and be quick. When I got here, Brian was actually in Battle Creek because we were on the Battle Creek team at the time too. So I ended up talking with John Bollinger, who at the time was the assistant general manager here in Kalamazoo. And throughout the course of just chatting for a while, he kind of flipped it on me and started interviewing me more than I was interviewing him. So afterwards, I got an email about a day later, and John wanted to bring me back in to talk with Brian. And I thought, well, it was for the class. Okay, he might have some different insight on it. And they offered me an internship to work for him for the summer.
Oh, okay.
And at that point, I didn't have any major summer plans. I was working, part-time at Cold Stone here in town. Nothing too crazy going on. So I'm like, all right, sure, why not? So I did the summer internship in 2016. I was actually in ballpark operations, which is the real fun work, meaning flipping burgers, taking out trash, the grind of day-to-day. But I fell in love with just being here, coming to a game for 3 hours and you see the baseball game, and but seeing the behind the scenes, everything that went into it, even during the season, which is completely different from the off season, but the behind the scenes and everything, that how well people work together and the passion that people had for putting together a product for people as they come, I just fell in love. I was like, all right, this is something I could definitely see myself going into. Was the sports industry. I didn't know specifically what that would look like. So after my internship year in the summer of 16, I actually took a year and kind of jumped around a little bit. Worked at MC Sports, which is a sporting retailer. Then I worked at Softball Fans, which is a baseball training facility. And then the Growlers offered me a full-time job here, taking over in the current role that I'm in. So it's different than what most people how they get into it, but that's who I am and where I am. So do things a little different, and to A to B, the shortest line is a straight. The shortest way to get there is a straight line, but I like to take a little bit of a wiggly line.
Yeah, no, that's an awesome story. I had no idea. So for those that aren't kind of aware of the Kalamazoo Growlers organization, can you give like a little bit of a backstory as to like how they came into existence? I know that in the past there's been the Kings and different organizations. So how did the Growlers kind of come back to the Kalamazoo area?
Yeah, absolutely. So a brief kind of history on it. The Kings were here. They were a Frontier League team, which is independent baseball. So they're technically professionals because they're being paid. They're past a collegiate or amateur level. The Kings closed up shop after the 2010 season, I want to say. Nope, sorry, 2012. They finished. And so the stadium here sat empty for a year, 2 years actually, while the Growlers ownership, and actually the Northwoods League ownership, which is the league that the Growlers are in, kind of bid on the lease for the stadium. So because it's a city public-owned stadium, you have to go through that whole bidding process and everything. So it did take a little while, but eventually we were able to win the bid and kind of take over. So the Northwoods League is a summer collegiate league that has been around. We just celebrated 25 years last year. Started in the Minnesota, Wisconsin area. That's where most of the teams in the league are, but it's really growing, and Kalamazoo is the perfect market for our brand, for the Northwoods League brand. So when it became available, Dick Raditz and Kathy Raditz are the owners of the league, with Brian Colopy, who's, like I said, the managing partner here in town. They knew that this would be a perfect spot. Plus, they had the team in Battle Creek for a few years prior, so that was a immediate, like, Battle Creek is one market, Kalamazoo so close, it'd perfect to have both teams running. So
yeah. So how does it feel to work with college players? So that's the big difference, I guess, between like a true minor league team and this league, is that you're dealing with college players. Yeah. Kind of tell us, how is that how's that dynamic, and then how do you think that that's different from working with professionals?
Yeah, absolutely. So the cool thing with us is, like you said, it is college players. So a lot of times they're younger than most players that are in the minor leagues. And for us specifically, Cody Pachaki is our managing partner. He actually he's our field manager, our coach. He coaches at KVCC here in town too.
Oh, okay.
So he is used to working with the freshmen, sophomores, because it's a 2-year school. So here, his recruiting philosophy is the same. He takes freshmen, sophomores from across the country. They're going to be the best ones across the country. So he takes a lot of young players because that's who he's used to working with. So we do have a lot of young guys, but they're generally, at least to me, they feel very hungry. They're here. It's a completely different experience from being at school where you play 2 times a week, Thursday, Friday, sometimes Saturday, to come and play here, where you play 72 games in 75 days, and you're traveling all over. It's a minor league schedule essentially. So those players, it is really a grind for them. And a lot of them that make it through the whole season, you can see the history of the Northwoods League, how many players we have produced to go into the minor leagues and into the major leagues too. We've had over 250 players make it to the major leagues. So I would say the biggest difference is it's players that are hungry to get better, to learn what the lifestyle is of the minor league, and to really see if that life, if they're going to cut it. You know what I mean? A lot of players will play for us not even the whole summer, and they'll go back to their schools and say college ball is good, and once they're done, they're fine with that. So it's really cool to see the ones that make it all the way through our season and then progress and make it into the minor leagues as well.
Yeah. What would you say really kind of separates you guys? So we kind of talked about the Kings and different people that have been in the area. What would you say kind of separates you guys from maybe some of those past failures, and like kind of what kind of gets you or keeps you going?
Yeah, definitely. So for us, the business model obviously is a little bit different. It's amateur baseball as opposed to a minor league, semi-professional baseball. But I think the thing that really makes us different compared to some of the other Frontier League teams that are still around, or the Kings, or other teams, is it is really family and fan first. We focus on entertaining people, making sure they have a great night at the ballpark. And then the very last thing we even think about is the baseball itself. It's like, oh, by the way, there's a baseball game going on. So we really try to entertain people. We feed people with, really good food that we do all in-house. And we make it a value, too. We make it family affordable and family friendly. So having those elements first, and then being a baseball team second, is really the difference. Where if you look at the Kings or other Frontier League teams or even minor league teams, they really focus on the baseball, and then they fill the gaps with entertainment and fun. And there aren't enough diehard baseball fans anywhere except for maybe some of the big markets. You go to Boston, Detroit, New York. Those major league cities are going to be able to do that. But a small market like Kalamazoo, it's not sustainable. So if you live and die by baseball, you're gonna die.
Yeah.
And that's what the Kings did. So for us, it's fan and families first, and then baseball second, and it's really taken off.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about the pack holder program that rolled out a couple of years ago, and then what would you say that the success of that initiative was really attributed to?
Yeah, absolutely. So we do things a little bit different than what a lot of other baseball teams do, where they will, teams will try to sell as many tickets as they can to every single game, where we really focus on specific games that we want to sell out and pack the stadium, and it just makes the atmosphere so much better. So that's why we have the different plans that we have, the 365 game plan, which right now we have a 5-game and a 7-game package. So those games we strategically put on the Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So the only way you can get into some of those, big weekend games that most people want to go to is by having these packages. So that's the first part, is getting everyone to the game on the same night through these packages to make the atmosphere better. The other part of it is making it an incredible value. So if with every package you get 5 tickets to 5 different games, those sellout games that I mentioned, you get unlimited food for 7 innings. So for $14 a ticket, you get all you can eat food and drink for 4 innings. That's you can't get that deal most other places. And there are some really cool perks for those packages too. You have a jersey and hat with every package you purchase. We have year-round events that are free. So we did a winter festival. We're doing a fall fest this year, probably a spring carnival again. So different fun things like that. And it really has taken off. You look in the first year that we offered those, we had, and I don't have the exact numbers in front of me, but a few hundred of those sold just because of people that were kind of used to buying tickets and bought into that. And then we really made a commitment to it and said, if we want to be successful as an organization, our pack sales have got to go up. So we have a couple of guys that are full-time. That's all they do is focus on, moving those packs and getting people in packages that fit best for them. And so the next year we almost doubled those sales, and then this year is the third year of our pack sales. Now it's rebranded to the 365 game plan, and we sold, I want to say, close to 700 more this year over last year.
Wow.
It was somewhere in there. I don't have the exact numbers, like I said, but it's people that have come out and experienced the games and realize that it is a little bit different and that the value's there, that people are coming back and we're selling more of them. And I think personally it's a really great fit for families too. You get, a couple of those packages, and it's not like you're committing to a full season ticket where you have to try to come and you have a lot of tickets that go to waste and whatnot. It's only 5 games throughout the summer, so it's like 1 or 2 games a month or so. And so you put those on your calendar. It's something fun that you're looking forward to. And yeah, it's just really gone off, exploded from there.
Yeah. I know my wife and I have had the packs since the beginning too, and it's funny that the very first year that we did it, we pretty much did it just because it sounded like it was a great value, and
Right.
kind of had like the bleacher seats, and then the next year we kind of upgrade to the next highest, and then this year we did the suite seats,
Oh, nice.
so it's
Great.
kind of like moving up as we are starting to enjoy coming more.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, we can, I guess, attest to the success of that initiative, and
And we call that the escalator. So you start off with something that fits right for you, whether what is your budget or how many games you want to come to. We'll start you off with the package that you think is right, and then we see that every single year. The majority of people will upgrade to whether it is from the bleacher to the box seat, or the box seat to the suite seat, or even just moving spots too. People that have the suite seats in one section but want to be on an aisle, or they want to be further up. People, that's one of the cool things, is they get to reserve where they sit too. They get pretty specific about that. So it's definitely worked out really well for us. And those kind of go in hand with some of our corporate sales too, where we have a lot of the home play club and the suite seats that will sell to businesses to send their employees and families out. So they work really well hand in hand.
So what are some of the, I guess, biggest challenges that you guys face because you are kind of a smaller organization? What are some of those challenges like, and then how do you guys tackle them?
Yeah, well, so some things that we face that maybe some other minor league organizations have more luxuries than we do. A minor league team will have a parent team. There'll be a farm club for another team, so they have that support, where we're kind of standalone on our own. But it really is good too. It means we don't have to necessarily follow somebody else's rules above us. We have complete liberty to do whatever we want, really. Some other challenges, the schedule can be tough for our players quite a bit. There are 2 off days throughout the whole summer, so recruiting players to come and go through that grind can be difficult. Having college players with their college coaches will set inning limitations and like different parameters around players coming. So a lot of times we will have 2 different rosters throughout the course of the season, the first half roster and the second half roster.
Oh, okay.
So, that's a big one too, that we have to have enough players set up. And then on top of that, they have to be good players too, because we do want to put on a good product. And then, besides that, staffing can be, especially if you look at some markets, Kalamazoo is a bigger, more thriving market, so it works really well. If you look at our team in Battle Creek, you have to kind of control things a little bit better as far as cost saving and whatnot. And we do that the best that we can here too. We're not spending lavishly on different things. We try to control costs as much as possible, but there are some organizations where it's like really tight and they don't have the staff that we have. We're really blessed to have everything that we do here. So another big thing in Kalamazoo, the relationship we have with the city, because it is a city-owned park, is phenomenal. And I know a lot of teams across our league that do play at city-owned parks. They don't necessarily have quite as close of a relationship, so getting some of the stadium improvements and renovations that they want can be a challenge for sure. But again, the city of Kalamazoo has done a great job for us, working with us to, the glass backstop that we have, the tabletops that we put in front of all the box seats. They've really encouraged us and let us do that. So that's cool. So kind of goods and bads for all that stuff.
Yeah. So here's a curiosity question for you. One of the things that you kind of see in the major leagues, but especially in minor leagues, is the kind of focus on doing like special nights or trying to do theme nights or just ways to bring people out to the park. So take me into the mind a little bit of like your guys' creative team.
Sure.
How do you think of ideas? Are they just like a brainstorm and
Right.
whatever works, and then how do you get like sponsors or different people to buy into those
Right.
ideas?
Yeah, so I'm actually really glad that you brought that up, because tomorrow we're having what we call Idea Palooza. So it's after the season every year. We do a big recap from just our office of what went well in the previous season, what didn't go so well, and it's covering everything: operations, food, drinks, entertainment, all of it. So we go over that, and then we have homework essentially that we've been working on for a couple weeks of ideas for different things that we can do. So tomorrow we'll spend the full day not doing paperwork, not trying to recap tickets or sell tickets or anything. It's all just internal brainstorming sessions and going through different things that we can improve on for 2020. So like I said, the cool thing is we don't have that governing club or governing body that puts limitations on us. We do the most crazy, insane stuff here because we can.
Yeah.
So you look at that emoji jersey that we did before, the selfie jersey. This year we did a second selfie jersey that was the cancer survivor jersey, the paparazzi jersey. So different stuff like that anyway that we have free reign to try. 2 years ago, we did in collaboration with the Battle Creek Bombers, we did food fight nights. So we did the Kalamazoo corn dogs versus the Battle Creek burritos. So that was actually the GM of Battle Creek, that was his idea, Tyler Shore. It went okay, but that's the cool thing, is we get to try different stuff, and if it doesn't work, then we'll scrap it. If it goes really well, then we'll improve upon it and move forward with it. So it is really a collaborative thing that we all work together to put, everybody has a little idea here or there, and when they all come together, it turns into something big and cool. I do have a lot of credit goes to our managing partner, Brian Callipy. He comes up with some of those crazy ideas. But we have a guy, Ewan, who is our media director. He is from Scotland, actually, and he is kind of the weirdest, quirkiest guys. He's all over the place, but he does his job super well, and he always has incredible ideas for weird stuff like that. So we do have some guys that are a little more creative when it comes to weird stuff like that too, so that helps.
Mm-hmm. So what are, kind of piggybacking off of that, what are some of your favorite memories, I guess, from working here or working the games, or kind of what kind of like one or two things that really stick out?
Right.
When you think?
Yeah, well, the first thing that I think of when it comes to memories of the Kalamazoo Growlers is actually being a fan before I was an employee. So I go back and I have pictures of, we hosted Kings players in the day too. We had full season tickets. I have pictures of me and my friends in the exact same seats that me and my now wife, Jory, are sitting in at Growlers games. Completely an accident, but the selfie picture that you're taking, it's like, oh, that's cool. So to see the evolution of where it was when it was the Kings to where it is now with the Growlers is awesome. And really the biggest thing for me is the amount of families and the amount of little kids and moms and dads that come to our stadium and leave just after having the time of their life and real memories that they're making is awesome. And for me specifically, I work with a lot of corporations. So as the director of business relations, the majority of my job is selling season tickets and group tickets to businesses in the area, and seeing how those tickets can affect companies' morale or whatever the case is. But just to get feedback after a company buys, say a block of tickets in our bear trap, and then the feedback they get afterwards that, everybody had such a great time. It was a great event. We're so happy that we did our summer picnic or whatever it is with you guys. That's really what it's all about is being able to make a difference. That's what we try to say is Kalamazoo Growlers is where fun makes a difference. So we are trying to use fun to make a difference in the community, businesses, families, all that.
Yeah. So again, just piggybacking off of that, what are some of the ways that, and I know that you guys do a lot, or what are some of the kind of events or just initiatives that you guys do to kind of give back to the community or to try to I guess be more than just a baseball team?
Yeah, absolutely. So we do a lot of things that are very typical for an organization, a sports organization. We get donation requests almost every day from different nonprofits that are doing raffles or, they want a porter appearance or anything. I've never seen a donation request be denied. We're always willing to help out local nonprofits. If they're doing something like that, we'll throw in a couple of tickets or some hats or a jersey or whatever the case is. But we also do stuff in stadium very different than a lot of teams. So every single night we have a nonprofit of the night where a lot of organizations will do, throughout the course of their season, they will have a highlighted night and all their promotions are based around that, where for us it's every night we want a nonprofit in here doing a 50-50 raffle, doing a miracle minute, which is literally just a minute of people running through the stands, getting donations from folks. We do have a couple of big nights that are focused around a specific nonprofit. So like this last year we did Hero Salute Night, which went, all the proceeds went to Section Collection and Section 1776, which helps veterans and local heroes. We did the cancer selfie jersey, like I had mentioned, and that all went back to the West Michigan Cancer Center. And those are some of the most fun nights that we have, really focusing on a specific cause and doing everything we can to give back. Last year we gave back over $100,000 to different nonprofits. So it's, in the grand scheme of things, it's not amazingly big, but from a small organization like ours, we think it can be impactful.
Yeah. And then kind of lastly, so you mentioned that you guys are kind of having your brainstorming initiative and that sort of thing coming up, and so maybe you don't have like a complete answer, but what do you guys kind of envision for this next year? Is there just something that you guys are planning on building off of, or do you have any kind of things to share about what this next season might look like or how it might be better than this past one? Or?
Yeah, I don't really have too many details because, like I said, we are doing the Idea Palooza tomorrow. I just know that every single year we do everything we can to make the experience a little bit better. So last year, what that meant was bigger focus on the video board and different entertainment on the field that we can do, different seating arrangements too. We did this cool thing where we took industrial spools and turned them into tabletops and got rid of picnic tables that we had throughout the ballpark. So it just made things more comfortable for more people. I know we're planning a couple small stadium renovations here or there that will make the experience a little bit better, but I don't have a ton of details, but I can promise you that the experience will be better next year, just because that's our goal every year, is to make it a little bit better. So I'm sure we'll come up with some different food things and different stadium things to make that happen, but as far as specifics, I don't have too many. Sorry.
No, that's fine. Thank you. So again, just thank you so much for sitting down. It's always fun, I guess, to be able to kind of get it behind the scenes, and to, you don't really think about all the things that go into a minor league team or the things that you guys maybe struggle with or things that you guys deal with. So it's a fun peek behind the curtain, I guess. Right. So I appreciate you sitting down and
absolutely. We're thank you so much to everybody that's listening that came out and supported us this last year. We are very excited for a couple of the festivals and different things that we still have this year, and even more excited for the 2020 season. So it's awesome to chat a little bit about it. And now I got to get back to work selling tickets. It never stops. So.
Oh yeah, are there still tickets left for the pack holders? Or
Yeah, definitely. So right now we're in the renewal process. So anyone that had a whether it was the 365 game plan, suite seats, anything like that, we're in the renewal. So anybody that had tickets can rebook their tickets, upgrade, whatever it is. And then usually next month around Thanksgiving is when we really start pushing the 2020 tickets. So there's definitely some room. I know last year we sold out of all our plans, and so we're expanding on it a little bit, and I would expect that all to sell out again. So if you do want tickets, definitely get them early because, like I said, if you want one of those Friday, Saturday, Thursday, Sunday games, those go first.
Mm-hmm. Well, awesome. Thanks again for sitting down, and I know I'm personally looking forward to the next season, and
Awesome.
I'll see you guys there.
Cool. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you for listening to the Walking with Legends podcast. If you like the content that you heard, please go on all of our social media platforms and like and follow us for additional content. Tune in next week as we examine the life and career of women's tennis star Serena Williams. Until next time, have a legendary week.